Danny Garcia got himself a win last night in Philadelphia, his hometown. And a lot of people ringside, and a lot of people, a lot of fans, a lot of YouTube videos. Everybody's talking about Keith Thurman's a big favorite now, and Danny Garcia shouldn't take the fight with Thurman. He's just not ready. He didn't look good, so on and so forth. We have to remember one thing. It was Danny Garcia who asked, to the disappointment of a lot of true fans, it was Danny Garcia who asked for the tune-up fight, and that's just what the tune-up fight is for. You're a little rusty. You want to get some rounds in. You want to just put yourself in position to be able to execute for your next fight. So you have to remember, he asked for this, and he had a feeling he was going to be rusty. And this is a guy who's still attempting to get acclimated to that 7-pound difference, to the 147-pound weight class. And after the fight, predictably, Keith Thurman was there commentating, so they got in each other's face. Nothing new, but it's entertainment, and that's what we wanted to see. And however, when reading Danny's lips, I got the sense that he's got a grudge. He's holding a grudge, and he's viewed as the easiest target out of the 147-pound champions, and even out of the top, let's say 5 or 6 people look at him and say, all right, let's focus our attention on him and go after him first. So Danny said, hey, I just had to tell Keith he's next. I'm going to whoop him. There's not much more to say. He got what he asked for. Now he's going to face the real big dog. And he said pretty much that on March 4th, that's when the fight's scheduled, that fans can they can expect fireworks. I have the heart of a champion, and I'm coming to win and unify titles. And Thurman pretty much said the right things. He said Danny looks strong. Of course, he added his backhanded comment. He always looks strong when he's sitting there flat-footed and letting big hooks go. And his opposition was never a threat to him at any point. And he went on to say Danny had a decent victory today. I don't think there was anything swift about it. They said that he wanted to tune up, and now he's ready to come see me. You got 2 big punches March 4th. I don't see how the fight can go 12 rounds. Danny, in my opinion, is someone who's been slightly exposed in the past. I see myself as the best competition that Danny has ever faced. He may see himself as the best fighter I've faced, but I believe Danny Garcia is actually going to have a problem with many true welterweights. I'm going to box smarter and box better. Danny is real flat-footed. I believe I'll be able to be on the outside, see the wide punches, and counterpunch. I think my counters and my power is going to be the ultimate game changer. Danny can talk whatever he wants, and Angel can say whatever he wants. They can talk smack all day, but I know for a fact that everyone who faces Keith Thurman will tell you that I'm the hardest puncher they've faced. Meek Mill was in the house. Allen Iverson was in the house on Friday. He paid a surprise visit to the Philadelphia 76ers locker room or practice or what have you, so he kind of hung and came to the fight card. Listen, when I give a breakdown of ways that the fight can go. Keith Thurman is right about one thing. Danny Garcia is the 147-pound equivalent to Saul Canelo Alvarez or Anthony Joshua. In that, yes, it's like he has cement in his feet sometimes. And Keith Thurman, he's on to something as far as Danny being flat-footed. However, there are some things that I think Thurman may underestimate when talking about that. Some things that he may overestimate about his game that he can bring to the table versus Garcia. I'm not going to get too deep into it. I'll give a strengths and weaknesses and pros and cons and this and that breakdown probably, I don't know, December, January, whatever. And Garcia did look slow. He did miss on his hooks and he was wild with them, but that's what you get. Danny Garcia, I don't think his concern is that I'm landing 10% of my shots when I throw this wild hook and miss. I think his concern isn't with the 10%. I think his concern is with the 10% that he lands and not the 90% that he misses. So his concern isn't with the 10%, but his concern is with the 10%. Yes, he liked to get that number up, and I'm just throwing that number out. That's not an official number. But what is it? Nothing beats a whatever but a try. and that's what he's doing. He's trying to land the shot that and if you throw it enough, in his experience, he knows this. If you throw it enough, you're going to land it. And Keith should know that. And speaking of wide shots, I mean, Keith throws his fair share of wide shots too. So when you look at what you had on Saturday night, that's exactly what you had. The tune-up. That's what it was. That's to get some kinks out, to just get some rounds in and prepare for a fight that's going to happen a few months later, barring any injury or any nonsense that may come forth. So it was a good win for him. I mean, he did what he had to do, which was win. And he got a stoppage against a guy who came to fight, and that's all you asked for. On the undercard, Jarrett Hurd scored a victory over JoJo Dan. And that victory was a corner stoppage / referee stoppage. And Hurd is, I would say, Jarrett Hurd right now is probably in the top 5 of fighters from the DMV. And that's DC, Maryland, and Virginia, for those of you who don't know, which is quickly becoming a hotbed of boxing. If you're in a city not known for Vegas and you have some talent and you're trying to figure out where you want to go, and Las Vegas isn't the answer, and Los Angeles, where there are probably more gyms than anywhere, is not the answer, and the UK is not the answer, and Florida and Texas and what have you, you want to come to the DMV, DC, Maryland, and Northern Virginia. It's hot. It's getting hot. There's a lot of prospects, a lot of talent, in that area. And so Swift Jared Hurd got himself a TKO versus Dan Ion, better known as JoJo Dan. Jared Hurd, we knew he was a crafty southpaw. We wanted to take our time because we didn't know how he would come out. We felt him out at first. We didn't think he'd come in as much. I thought he'd try to move around, but he brought the fight a little closer than I expected. My defense was a little off because being prepared for a right-hander. We fixed that in the last round and got the stoppage. He was wobbly, he was shaky, so on and so forth. I probably would have taken him out in the next round. JoJo Dan, he said that the weight was the big difference. He took the fight on short notice, and he's a natural 147 pounder, and he doesn't struggle to make that weight. He said that Hurd was a tough guy. He gave him some good shots. He took some good shots, and at the end of the day, it's boxing, and he couldn't do enough to get the win. Now, I'm not going to jump the gun on Jared Hurd. I saw some things I liked. I saw some things I didn't like. I mean, he doesn't have the fastest hands in the world. He likes the uppercut, and in the fight prior to this one, when he was on the Thurman versus Porter undercard, he looked amazing. He looked like a world beater, and he still appears to be a future world champion. Let me clarify that. However, he did take some shots, more shots than I'd like to see. At first, I thought, well, maybe he's taking those shots because he didn't respect JoJo Dan's power. But based on his commentary about my defense was a little off because being prepared for a right-hander, and then we fixed it in the last round. It kind of leads me to believe that he wasn't taking some shots, taking a shot here and there so that he can give a shot or two. It looks as if he may have some defensive deficiencies. Now, he got hit in that fight prior to it, when he fought on the undercard of Thurman versus Porter. So some things that need to be fixed as he steps up competition and goes against some world-class guys. We want to make sure he tightens those things up. So I didn't like how much he got hit. He does well with that uppercut, and I like to see him maybe shorten some punches up to get them there quickly. I just, hand speed wise, I just didn't see it, and I didn't see it with Garcia. So maybe it was just one of those nights where it I don't know. Maybe my eyes play tricks on me, and guys just look slower than what they ordinarily do. I don't know. But so I think Danny Garcia, the fact that saying that he's not ready for Thurman, I'm not so sure about that. I look at the young man's resume, and I understand this is a new weight class, and people are saying that his punch isn't carrying up to this weight class, but I'd like to see Keith Thurman in there with a Lamont Peterson. See how he handles that, or with a Lucas Matisse. Now, one thing about Thurman is he's a big. I don't see him lasting too many more years at welterweight. I think he's a big welterweight. I'm not sure how many more fights he can make the weight without a struggle. I understand height-wise why he wants to stay at that class. When you start stepping up to those 154-pound fighters, there's some the height differential. Keith Thurman is not the tallest guy in the world, but he does have that sledgehammer in either hand. So that's one thing that he'll I think he'll take with him to the next highest weight class. So anyway, for Danny Garcia, I just like to see him have a long training camp, get some good sparring in, work on things that his father saw that he feels he needs to work on, and have a solid game plan with a plan B and C going into the fight with Thurman, because you just don't know how these two styles are going to mesh. Everyone's playing it out in their head, and they're giving Thurman a mild advantage to a huge advantage. They're basing on what they saw on Saturday night, and I'm saying hold the horses a little bit. Just think about the matchup, and instead of thinking about what each guy does well, think about each guy's insecurities or each guy's weaknesses that cause those insecurities, and then try to see how the fight plays out then. And I think you may look at it as more of an even matchup when you do that. I think there's some things that Danny can do that can trouble Keith, and there's some things that Keith can do to trouble Danny. We'll see in March. It's a fight that we hope March 4th, that we hope we get. That's the date. We don't have a venue. It's an East Coast fight. Let's keep it East, fellas. And we'll see how it plays out. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at The Fight Journal. Make sure you go to thefightjournal.com. Type your email into the box, and you'll get all of our interviews, articles, videos, what have you, sent directly to your email. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're gonna give away some money in 2017, and some prizes and so on and so forth. So one of the requirements is that you subscribe to our YouTube channel, video channel. Also follow our friends at DPG Uncut TV, DPG Uncut TV, for the latest hip hop and entertainment news. We'll catch you on the next video.